In this day and age, it's becoming almost impossible to actually own anything. Subscriptions are terrible in general, but especially if you're in debt. Sometimes, though, you just have to have them. Hey guys, it's Dan. I hope you all are doing well. It's been a little bit since my last upload, been super busy, but I just kind of wanted to hop on and talk to you guys about why subscriptions are bad, what subscriptions I have, and why I have them, as well as if you do have subscriptions, do you need to cancel? And if you do, what ones do you need to cancel and what ones should you keep? So I hope you all are ready for me to kind of spill out what I have going on and really take a look at what you guys have in your own life and if you can cut back some costs and how much it may actually save you. So for me, I just consistently think subscriptions are evil, but what exactly makes them that way? Well, first off, they trick you into thinking that they're small. They're only a couple of dollars, less than $20, which, that's maybe about a meal when you go out to eat. So you're like, yeah, I can probably afford that. I go out to eat a decent little bit. I can just save one meal and be able to have Netflix or Spotify or something like that. So they trick you into thinking that they are small, they are affordable, and it's not that big of a deal if you have them, as well as they're constantly increasing that price. Everything is going up. It's kind of part of life. Everything's going to slowly increase due to inflation, but it seems like subscriptions are raising their prices more and more, like almost every single month, yet you don't get any additional value out of it. They just keep giving you the same thing, or maybe even taking more stuff away, yet they want more of your money. And like I said, most of them don't offer a good value anymore. They keep taking away all the shows that I like, all the songs that I like, and everything like that. And it's just not worth the cost that they are charging for them. But I still have kept a lot of them way longer than I should have. So what subscriptions do I have and why have I kept them? I will clarify and say that I have gotten rid of a lot of my subscriptions as of late. The ones that I have now are the ones that I either have to have or are just like the one thing that I enjoy in my life. And yeah, so let's get into it. The first one is going to make Caleb Hammer scream. If you guys know who he is, he does the financial auditing stuff. But the first one that I have is for Spotify. And right now that is $11.99 a month. This is, I feel like, the one subscription I have that I get pleasure out of. This is the one that I use that is just for me. And that's the only reason that I kept it. I don't have any streaming services, anything like that. This is the one that I actually use every single day. And I feel like I do get at least $11 or $12 out of it. So that is why I have justified keeping this one. If I didn't listen to music all the time, I probably would get rid of it. But if I'm sleeping, if I'm in the car, if I'm at work, I've got music, podcast, something going, because I will go crazy if I don't. So that is my one personal that, like, yes, I love this. I want it. This is my guilty pleasure subscription. So yes, that may be the one that if things get really tough going forward, that may be the one that I end up canceling, but as of right now, I'm keeping it. So after Spotify, my next one is going to be my Ring home security subscription. I do pay for the $20 plan, which is, I believe, the high tier one. And that may seem kind of like a silly one, especially within the state that I live in and the town in that state, because we just don't have a whole lot of crime. So it may not make a whole lot of sense to have it. And I'm hoping to cancel this one. The reason that I do have it is because I have had a lot of problems with my upstairs neighbor where if I so much as cough, she calls the cops and she tries to leave sticky notes on my door and does all sorts of stuff. She acts like I'm partying and screaming and ripping the drywall off of the studs because I so much as made a little peep. So I'm keeping that on just in case, as kind of to cover my ass situation, which it has come in handy before when she tried to say that I was cheating on my ex and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, here's the camera footage, bitch. Like, that is why I have this subscription. I'm hoping come August when I move out that it is something that I can cancel and save myself that extra $20, $21 if it has tax on it going down the road. But for right now, that's one that I have to have just for my own security and to be able to kind of keep me safe and keep people honest. So that's the one that I'm 100% going to cancel once I move, but it is a cost that I have right now. The next one that I have is for Adobe. Now, Adobe, I feel like it irritates me just seeing the subscription come out every single month. It is a subscription that I have to have because one of my jobs that I'm really working on trying to promote and make it a much more valuable source of income is photography. So we can touch base on that much later on down the road. But it is a software that I have to have in order to do that job, just because of the fact that I can't really just send people raw pictures because they don't look quite as nice. And there isn't anything as good or comparable right now to Lightroom that I have found. So I do keep it for that. If there is something that is comparable or even better, I may move to that, especially if it is cheaper. But right now I do pay $21.19 every single month for that Adobe subscription. And it is one that I will have to keep paying for, but I'm hoping that I can use that as a tax write-off going forward, since it is essentially a business expense. But my last and final subscription after Adobe is Apple. Now, this is literally the cheapest subscription that I have, and there's only it's part of the business expense for say, because I do need this for the photography gig as well as my other side job doing bookkeeping, just so that I can kind of keep all the files and be able to bounce around whether I'm at home, at work, or out on like vacation and be able to do my job. And it is only $1. Basically, it's 99 cents. It is for the ability to have, I believe it's 50 gigabytes of cloud storage through Apple, and all of my products that I use are all based on Apple computers. It's just easier for me to do regular work type stuff on an Apple computer because of how the file transfers and everything shares. So I do pay for that so that I can keep all documents, all pictures, everything like that across the board on my iCloud and be able to just kind of bounce them back and forth if need be. So that is my last subscription, but all of these totaled together as of last month when I did pay them, it came to a total of $54.16, which really did blow my mind because at first they all seemed small. It was like, oh yeah, you know, I can't even go to McDonald's for less than $12. And so I'll get Spotify. And then the Ring camera, I was like, okay, that's a bit much at $20, but I need that to keep myself safe. So I'll go ahead and I'll pay for that one. And Adobe I have to have for the business, and Apple I have to have for the business. So there isn't much of a choice there. I did used to have more subscriptions. I used to pay for Apple TV. I used to pay for Paramount, and I also used to pay for Xbox Game Pass. Those subscriptions I have cut out, especially Xbox, just because I didn't play that many games, and when they just like essentially tripled the price, it just wasn't worth it. I had to get rid of that one, and this day I saw that they charged me more than the like $15 or $20 that it was. I was like, yep, nope, goodbye, we are done. And so I don't have any Xbox Live or any ability to play multiplayer games that are not on my PC. So that kind of stinks, but it is what it is. It wasn't a good value for me, and I didn't get anything out of it. So I did cancel that one, and I don't watch a whole lot of streaming services. I fell into the trap with Apple where I was like, okay, I like some of these shows. I got the 3-month free subscription when I got my phone or my computer. I can't even remember what it was. So I had that, and I just kept paying for it because I was like, oh, you know what? This is nice. And then I actually sat down and looked at my life about how much I sat and I watched content, and it just wasn't enough to validate paying for that. So I went ahead and axed that, and same with Paramount. So I did get rid of those, and these are the only subscriptions that I have. And like I said, I am planning to cancel the Ring subscription once I do move, so that will bring the total down to roughly $34.15. So I'll be saving about $20 on my subscriptions once I move, as well as I'll be paying a lot less in rent, which will be super, super nice. But yeah, that is what I'm paying currently. And I think you guys should definitely look at your subscriptions, because especially if you're in debt, you should be canceling your subscriptions because you're just throwing money away. Essentially, you need to be out spending more time for working. And that's why I do validate some of these subscriptions I have, is because 2 of them are for work, and I do use Spotify when I'm going for my photography stuff or when I am working. So I wouldn't necessarily classify it as a business expense, but it does help me do my job for my mental sanity. So if they aren't benefiting you in any way and helping you make some sort of money or whatnot, I think you need to get rid of them, especially streaming services. You shouldn't be sitting on your butt if you're in debt watching TV. You need to be working. You need to be doing stuff. Put an ad blocker on your computer and watch YouTube. Like, that's what I do, and save yourself the hassle of paying for all that. But if you're not in debt, you should still probably look at canceling most of them, because like streaming services, I feel like if you don't use them and you maybe watch 3 hours of content, but you're paying $30+ for streaming services, you need to get rid of them. It's not a good value for you. But if you are watching them all the time, you can afford them and whatnot, go ahead and keep them. But if you aren't, take that money and go ahead and invest it, because that money will turn around and make you a lot more money than you are spending. So that's what I would do if I had the ability. I'd be spending all that money that I would use for these subscriptions on investing or paying off debt and all of those sorts of things. So yeah, that is kind of my 2 cents when it comes to subscriptions. I think they're evil, and most of the time you need to go away. If I could just buy, say, like the Adobe Lightroom just flat out, I would eat that cost of like maybe even up to $300 just to never have to buy it again. But unfortunately, these companies aren't letting you do that, and they know that there's a lot of people that just have to have them, which really sucks, and I think is very predatory on the business side of these things. But what can you do? Right now, there isn't a whole lot of options, so that's where we're at. There are some subscriptions that you have to have, like I said, some that you want, and most of them you just need to get rid of, especially if you're in debt. And that's kind of where I'm at. And hopefully if you guys are watching this video and you're in a similar situation, you kind of can go through and budget and pull everything out and really see where all of your money is going. And if a lot of it is going to subscriptions that you could be using to get yourself out of debt, go ahead and cancel them and use that money in a better way to get yourself set up, because once you're out of debt, you can more than likely afford these types of subscriptions and pleasure things, as I know many people call them, and it'd be a whole lot better than ending up charging you a shit ton in interest. But with that, you guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. Let me know if there's anything that I missed or anything that you would recommend I add to this video, as well as what your thoughts on subscriptions are in general. But with that, you guys, thank you all for watching. My name is Dan, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.